Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Oversample TV Channel 2. Today on the table we have a track breakdown. The track named Liberate that I have released some time ago in the Disturbance EP. This is one of the coolest tracks that I've ever made with one of the coolest themes. It puts you in this very unique atmosphere, and also the production of it is very nice. There's a lot of cool sounds in it. So I want to show you this track. It's like one of the best tracks to pick for a track breakdown. Okay, so I'm gonna play it back and we're gonna dive into the track breakdown. We've got the two groups, the group green and the group violet, and this yellow thing, this is a sidechain thing that is, I think this is just a white noise. Oh, shut the hell up. This is just a white noise, and there is the music group is this one, and this is the drums group. In the music group we have the compressor that's reacting to that white noise. You can use white noise, like a very short snippet of the white noise, to do sidechaining, and then use a compressor, use the audio from pick this track. And then you have this thing you can hear every single time it plays, it sidechains. And if I go here, if I extend it, we get this different shape. And this is the ghost sidechain thing because the track is disabled. And I do apologize, because there are going to be planes flying in the background, and this studio is located under the bridge in a container, and the acoustics here are so bad. This is channel number 2. We don't have budget for a better studio, so for now we are live streaming to the television from a container, and there are literally mouses walking on the floor, and it's dirty here. And there are spiders and there are spider webs. There's no light. The only thing that I have here is my laptop with mobile network connection through which I am streaming to the television, and headphones, and I don't have anything else. Please, can we make it better? It's really uncomfortable here, guys. The channel number 1, the main channel, has it much better. I've been to that studio. It's cozy. It's warm. Here, it's not warm, it's cold as fuck. I am barely, can you hear how I'm shaking? It's so cold. So you can also tweak the compressor. Make it deeper and make it very aggressive like this. You can also go to peak. That's going to sound like this, a bit different, which kind of sounds literally like this white noise, and we can extend it. And we have sort of shape like this, which can be different for different occasions. That's not the ultimate way to sidechain, but that's one of them. It doesn't give you many controls, but you have to work a little bit to make it perfect. Definitely the better way to sidechain is using tools like LFO tool and the MIDI trigger. But this is one of the ways, and you can totally use that. It totally works. If you want to have a perfect shape of the sidechain, it's kind of harder to adjust it because the adjusting of the controls is kind of harder. But if it works, it works. Okay, so let's dive into the drums. And man, there's a lot of things going on in the drums section. Highlight all, Alt scroll. Oh my god. Let's do like this. Okay. So in the drums section, this is what it sounds like. I have a switch up with different drums, like little hats, more hats, and it transitions with these ones to this section. So let me break it down track by track, and I'm gonna tell you why I have placed here certain drum sounds in the places that I have placed them. What's their function? Mainly, so kick and snare, kick, snare. Simple, boom, 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 boom. And that, as you can hear, boom, 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 boom. The reason there's a kick here is because it supports this. It's like down, down, down. Without the kick, see? It's supposed to be like pound, pound, pound. That's why there's a kick that works for the rhythm, and we have more different kicks here. It just sounds better in this case, so without these. Oh, we have to also disable this. It's kind of missing something, right? Dun, 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 dun. Right, and as you can see, there's this quieter kick and louder kick that's supposed to sound like this. It's supposed to be the dun, dun, dun. So that's what you can do. You can adjust different volumes of the kick, and that's a very common thing to do when working on drums. Is that, for example, with hats, you can do something like this. Hold on a second. Let me make this a little bit bigger. And that is what she said, right? Like this. You have two hats, and you make the second one shorter and also quieter. So you get instead of get a nice rhythm. And then you can add swing by offsetting this so that there are not 4 grids is now, but 3, or any different amount. The further, the more aggressive the swing is. So that's something you can do, and the same thing here is with drums. And to make some of the transitions between the drums better, there is this kick. I don't know if this is called ghost kick. I guess it is. Right? It transitions to this kick and to the snare. And then we have let's see how that works in the song. Down, bound, bound. Right, without. Empty. So that kind of adds this rhythm, and there's no sidechaining for those because there's like ghost kicks. They're kind of like, they act kind of like percussive element, and not really so much as a main sound. So we don't need, it's more like a background element. We don't need to sidechain for it. We don't need to make space for it. As you can see, there's like this trick that you can do. Simply take this sound here. It's made a little bit quieter on the waveform, and then add an LFO, or I mean add an EQ to it. It's the same sound, but when you add an EQ, you just leave that low end, and it gets you, like transitions you to this kick, and it works great because you're using the same kick instead of using a different one. And the low end, the tonality, the key, these all things, they match together, and you have a really nice transition. The boom, boom. Okay, so those are the kicks and snares. In the first section, there's also a more explosive. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, are you jamming? These sounds are coming from, ladies and gentlemen, drum roll, Super Heavy 2, the ultimate EDM drum toolkit, sample pack, from oversample.us, the first studio who has better and warmer environments. But they have made me promote their stuff, which I'm not really a fan of because the working environments are so bad here. Anyways, gotta do what you gotta do, because otherwise they're not paying me. So, and by the way, my name is also Peter, but this is a different Peter. You probably don't recognize me. I'm a little different than the Peter from the first channel because it's not the same Peter, even though the name is the same. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so we have the kick and snare drums, and then we have the hi-hats. Simple hi-hat loop. But there's a trick that you might not be noticing yet, but if I delete the trick, it's suddenly worse. What happened? The trick is that we're pushing these hi-hats 10 milliseconds to the right side, and by doing so we are making spaces for the transients of the kick and snare, and also adding a little bit of the groove. It sounds like, let me push this even further. It's like, it's nice, and it's something that you can do with drums. You can push the hi-hats to the right side, and you will get this like it's a very common thing, and it's simply just the hi-hat repeating, playing all the time. If I disable, you can hear that. Okay, so right now when I play this track, you can't really hear the hi-hat, right? But if I disable it, you suddenly hear that there are lags in the hi-hat. Right? So, and it also adds that snap every single, how much is it? Quarter. And because you're adding this hi-hat every single quarter, it kind of dictates the rhythm. It's like pam, 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 pam. It's like if I add a metronome here without, it's kind of lacking that, you know, that rhythmic thing. So that hi-hat, that's what it's doing. There's a little bit of a hat like this processed so that it's less aggressive. Is there impressive? You know. And it's like just adds a little bit of beef, right? It's like a detail that you don't really hear, when it is enabled, it's like a part of just the whole, like the rest of the sounds. But you definitely hear it when it's not there. And you hear what it's adding. It's like filling the spaces. Okay, so then, you know, it's kind of getting really cold here. Let me close the container doors. That should also make it better when it comes to the acoustics, and you shouldn't be able to hear these flying planes all the time. It's not a thing that they have chosen this bridge around the airport, man. What the hell? But anyways, okay, so now it should be better. And ooh, this is a cool sound. But do I want to go into that sound, or do I want to go into this laser? So this laser, yeah, let's do this. This laser, ladies and gentlemen, comes from the, oh, you can see this here, from the Sound to Sample pack, which you can get for free. I think this is inside the free version. And this is just a laser. This is the one that I use all the time in my songs. The Sound to Sample pack is the pack that has a lot of my signature sounds. So this is a laser that's from that pack. And the tone of it changes a little bit when we add Infiltrator. This is mid-tape. It gets kind of darker and kind of more sugary. And so the reason for this lasery sound is it's like bound that bound that bound that bound. It's not only a drum sound. Well, it's not really a drum sound, it's an effects sound. See? It's like right? It's the reason for it is to be like it kind of also stops the song because it kind of sounds like a tape stop. Not really stopping it fully, but it does give that sort of effect of a tape stop. And it's playing every bar like this with the spacing like this all the time, and even before the drop. That stops it, but we're gonna dive into this part later. And so the reason it's not here as well is because that would be too much. Right, that's too much. We already want this to stop here, have a little different variation here, and then go back to the same here. Okay, so let's dive into this fill sound. Okay, so we have, this is what it sounds like. That sounds pretty complicated, right? That's like a longer fill, so without it, it gets boring. And you want to have some variation in, you can leave the first part, which is how many? 2 bars? This is 2 bars? Okay, you can leave the first part just empty without these things. It wouldn't even make sense to put them here. But you want to introduce some changes in this one, because if we don't have these things, it would be just repeating all the time like this, and it would just be too boring. So you want to be introducing some like little fills, little sweeps, little percussive elements, so that you get not so steady and boring and repetitive drum section. So this fill consists of, let me just solo the whole group. Delete this. This is like this is, by the way, part of the whole drum loop. But this is like an open hat with reverse crash or ride that transitions into, God damn it, into the snare. See this? Yeah, also made this hit of the hi-hats kind of stronger. But it's like a sweep into the snare, and as well as here. Notice that this is all before the snares. So this one, this is like 2 snares. One is in the center and one is wide for like the background, like the room sound of the snare. This is in the middle, but there's also a little bit of Valhalla room. This is something that you can do with the reverb if you want to add a little bit of width to the sound. You can use a low decay, very low, 100 milliseconds, with a little bit of mix to make the sound a little bit wider, and also a little bit in the back, a little bit wet. So this is what we are adding, but just a tiny bit. And then this is another sound, but this is fully into the back. I think I did something to it. Wait. I think I recorded it from the microphone, like from the speakers into the microphone, because that's what it sounds like. And I added some reverb and EQ. Have only this reverb kind of room thing to be bright. That's what it sounds like. And as you can see, because there's a kick and we don't want it to collide too much, I'm pushing this so that there's this room for the transient of the kick. If I leave it like this. It sounds okay. But that's why I did that. And then we have this, as you can see there, as you can hear, there's this crunch. And I think I just didn't care enough to remove it or to do something with it. And the reason there's crunch is because these volumes, this low end of the kick is clashing with this sound, which is very bright. And when you do that, you get this crunchy thing. If on those two things there is a clipper, which is soft clipping distortions, you can see when these two things in this place, that's where this crunchiness is coming from. And the soft clipper is saturating the sound, cutting the tops, but also saturating the sound a lot. What did I do? Did I do something? No. So that's where this is coming from, and kind of dirty. Could have removed that, but I didn't really mix this track either. A little bit. It sounds okay. Could totally sound better if I mix that, like if I exported stems, but that's fine. Here, a little fill. Not much to talk about here. There's a little bit of this hi-hat. Adds a little bit of the body and richness to the snare. And we have this sweep. The reason there's a sweep because there's an end of the section. And usually at the end of the sections, you may want to introduce some sweeps for transitioning between sections. As you can see, there's usually a sweep here. There's not one here. There's no sweeps here, but there's at the end of the section. This is more like a, it's like an ending one, like with an impact and with a sweep down. It's like transition element, not really a sweep like this, but transition element with an impact and sweep down, which you can put at the end of the whole drop. And what did I miss? You can put sweeps for sections like this. Sometimes you want to put a, when you have a kick, for example, you want to put a low rumble before that kick to have a better transition in terms of the tone. What you can also do is you can have a kick, you can reverse it, you can have something like this, make a fade here, something like this. If you want a longer transition, you can pitch the kick down by 12 semitones, so 1 octave, and you get something like this. Or you can put, oh, it's not going to be here. Out now, super heavy 2, here, you can have like reversed rumbles, like so. This one has some high end. You can also EQ that high end out if you don't want it. Yeah, so introducing sweeps in different places in the drum section, that does a lot. And you have to do this strategically. You can't just place these things, like all these elements, they are here for a reason, because they all sound good in these specific places. It's not that I just put them because I was thinking that I need some drum sounds to put in my drum section to make the thing sound more interesting. No, all these drums are placed here because they have their own utility in the song, in the whole context. So it's placed here because it sounds good here. Right? We could say that this is a fill, like tone, 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 and there's a little bit of fill before the fill, like introducing the fill. Yeah, this is totally a fill, and there's a sweep at the end of the fill. Without the sweep, boring. Right, and so then we have, oh, this one's nice. Oh, I'm gonna disable this one for now. Oh, that sounds amazing. And what it is simply just a snare, super heavy 2, and it has a delay set to half because I want it to be or and if you go here, you can see that the delay, yeah, I should have done this because there's a click, or this. Oh, stop. Whatever. So yes, it's like and the reason it sounds so cool because it's set to ping pong and it goes like left, right, left, right. Stop. There's a little bit of reverb automation on this. And it's also strategic. Like, stop. Right? It helps transitioning, but like it goes up and it slows down. Then okay, and then we have another sweep. And as you can hear, the drums are different here. And the reason is because it's like at the end of the section. So you want to introduce some variation in the drum. So we don't want to necessarily repeat this bit of the section right here. We want to introduce something new right here. So there's a little bit of like fill within the kick itself. The rhythm changes and that helps to end the section. Right, it's different than this. Right, this has a completely different purpose. And so, wait, but we missed the sound. This one helps, like, this is the fill before this section. And this one is a transition to the fill. Right, this is like the ending of this section. Now you can hear that there's like da-na-na-na-na, which is a transition to this part. Maybe a little bit confusing. I'm gonna add 2 markers here. 1, 2, and another here. And now you can see where sections are divided. I'm gonna label that. Drop A. What the hell? Drop A. Drop B. And this is gonna be a breakdown. So we have these divided nicely. And the sound here. This is what I missed. This is this sound. It's a bit like a LFO white noise. We're adding shifter, automation. Like blah. It's just like a, yeah, it's just a pitch shift. No, it's a frequency shifter. It shifts the frequencies. As you can see here, there's a little bit of serum effects. Hyper to make it wide. Making it wide. And making it even more wide with chorus. And if you set the depth of the chorus to lower, you're not getting so much of the delay. Like, see the delay? No, without delay. And then we have this completely squashing the waveform. As you can see, the waveform goes like up and down here. Very unsteady. We want it to be like steady like this. A bit of EQ for the tone. And the reverb automation going up to help with transitioning. Very nice. And here's again a fill. One thing that is very common that you can do, like put that, there's like the offbeat snares. Yeah, as you can see, there's an intentional placement for all these things. A little bit of a fill here. Better than this. Or this. And we have this little fill here. A little bit of effect. There's a reverb, and the reverb is very wide. It creates this like its own sweep. Again, it helps with transitioning. Without these things, boring as hell. Again, sweep for transitioning. This is the end of the section, so we won't have a longer sweep. See, that's also intentional placement. Like, the reason this is shorter is because this is not really the end of the section. You don't really want to transition so heavily, unless it is for any creative purposes. Unless it makes sense, right? It doesn't make sense to put a long sweep like this here. Right? It's not working. Okay, so that's that for now. And then all these things are repeating almost in the same way. There's one more snare here in this section, and there's a different kick because this section is heavier, so we're looking for a different kick as well. Yeah, not much to talk about here. Nothing really new. We have a little bit of... As you can hear, this melodic section. We're kind of slowing down in this case. And it makes sense too. We're not really looking to increase the tension here because here's the breakdown. It works great. No fills here in this case. We can check how that would sound like. Nah, not really, right? So the difference here is that we have these two. This one. Oh. And this one. Just loops. You know, when I say to you on a promo video for the packs that you can literally just drag and drop these sounds, I'm not lying, I'm literally doing that. And it works. Right? Without, with, and with this one. Again, sweep. And this one is adding even more juice to these drums, making them even beefier and flow heavier. Right, so what you want to do is you want to introduce some elements every so often. So in the second part of the drop, you do want to introduce some changes. You don't really want it to be the same. You don't really want it to be repetitive. We are changing a lot here, like the whole melodic section changes here, which is great, as well as the drums. The change in the drums is a very common thing to do. So that's it for the drop. And to not bore you with the section anymore, let's go into the drop sounds and into what's going on in there, because there's a lot of cool sounds. So this one, so nice. That was the beginning of this song, actually, because I started to make the sound and it turned into this. I started messing around with different notes and I was like, whoa, that sounds cool. And then I added drums and I added other elements and boom, I have a whole song. Actually, this was crazy with the song because it took me like 2 days to make the whole song. And it's like one of the best songs that I made. Which is like sometimes you work on a song for days and weeks and you're not making much progress. This was like 2 days. Sometimes it just clicks and you have such a flow that you just make a song in 2 days. It's just like the idea is just like flowing out. It's just like this whole track just flew out of me at that moment, which you can conclude out of this. You can extract some wisdom out of this, and you can conclude that, well, maybe I don't really need to struggle and work so hard on the songs, on finishing them, but what I have to do is to keep showing up every single day. And sometimes one day I'm gonna have such a big flow that the track is just going to fly out of me, right? And that is true, actually. Sometimes you just have flow, and yeah, and sometimes you're trying to make something, it doesn't work. But sometimes it's like a chain reaction, and then the track goes like, boom, here's a track. Okay, so let's break down the sound. Let's see, I don't need this. Okay, so this is one of the presets from my serum pack called Purple Dragons, and I love to do that. I love to pick a preset and start processing it, and then pick a different preset to see how it sounds like. And that's what it sounds like initially. We're adding some vocoder. It kind of changes the tone of it and makes it more watery. Then resonator. It sounds like shit, and the reason is because there's no pitch map. But this is adding these resonances, this tonality to the sound. And let me enable pitch map, because that's gonna make more sense. Right, already sounds like that. Right, without this resonator. Kinda. But now, hell yeah. Okay, so Infiltrator, just a random preset. Oh wait. This distortion preset, maybe that wasn't random actually, but I chosen it. Okay, here we have some thing that is opening right here. Wait, that makes no sense. Oh, adding some glitch. I don't think this is supposed to be like that. But anyways, V clip to chop off to do nothing. Alt T. Not Alt T. Disperser, making it more watery and like lasery. V clip, is this chopping anything? Oh, big time. So it's chopping and it's distorting the sound. Now that is even squashing it even further. EQ to overcompensate for this volume loss here. I used makeup 20, but it wasn't enough. And that's it. Delete the low end because there is this sound that has low end in it. Honestly, this sounds too dirty. Or does it? Oh wait. Yeah, maybe it doesn't sound too dirty. It is very saturated, very rich, very aggressive. But maybe it isn't too much. Okay, let's go back to freezing. I had to offset it a little bit because there's this beginning. No, that is not over. That's not dirty. That's not too crunchy. So that's that, and then we have this bass. What the hell? It's just that sound. With some processing to make it beefier, starting with this shape on the level, a little bit of volume going down. Have the combination of it's a classic fart bass. It's a combination of a sine wave and white noise and distortion. You get a fart sound. Shape it like this. Okay, that makes no sense. Doesn't have to, I guess. Vocoder, making it super dirty. Infiltrator, adding the tops. V-clip, chopping the tops. Making it like this, beefy on the lows. Chopping the tops, making the volume steady. The sound isn't so dynamic and it's not so uncontrolled. And that's like a very, how do you say it? Very chaotic processing. But you get this sugary sound. Sounds nice. Okay, so we have this pound, pound, pound here. And what it is just a saw wave with this shape on the low pass filter. This is opening and closing. Then we have the one, which is the free rack you can get out of oversample.us. Makes it beefy. Makes it also sugary because we have a filter. Like it's on its own it's sugary because there's a vocoder in it. But because there's a filter, kind of makes it more sugary. Like wet. A little bit of crunch with infiltrator. Making it beefier. And just cutting the low end because we have low end here. And this helps with transitioning a lot. Like bam, bam, bam. Okay, and now we are diving into the coolest sound, I guess, which is this vocal chain. Oh. 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 Okay, this slaps. Okay, where do we start? Okay, by Zelly bling all these things. Let's do it like this. This is just a vocal. This is the original. Warped a little bit and pitched 2 semitones up using Complex Pro from 0. There's a difference between Complex and Complex Pro. You may not hear this on this example, but there's totally a difference between those two. This one sounds a little bit more like filtered and smoother. maybe not smoother, but like filtered. I don't know how to label that. But there's difference. You gotta keep that in mind. So we're adding this. I made this preset for Nectar that adds, makes the whole thing super bright. I mean, not super bright, but it makes it brighter. And brighter equals more quality. Also compresses the shit out of this sound. Some de-essing, some saturation. And we have this infiltrator. Yuri Geller. Which there's this movement of this, what is this? Delay? Let's disable this. Distortion is here. Now it is in the middle. Now it is on the sides because there's a phaser on it. Okay, what is going on here? What is this automating? This automating the delay. What is the delay of what? Delay time between echoes. Okay, makes sense. So there's a delay and it's repitching every single moment that you move the delay. That's why you can create these pitch movements. Right? And then we have more of those. Doing a very similar thing. It's set to 50% with the tone high here. So it changes the tonals on high, low tone, mid tone, high and high. So it makes it brighter too. But that's the main effect for this. And then there's this little bit of EQ, got the lows, the reverb, but the reverb is only at the end here in the breakdown, as well as additional reverb here. And it changes to the infiltrator number 2, which has pseudo phaser. And we are using a little alter boy on performance -7. So that's what it creates. That's what creates this, like a dissonance or something. Kind of sound, and we're, doesn't do anything. Yeah, it moves like there's like a flanger effect between stereo channels, and makes it a little bit brighter too. You know, with Infiltrator, mostly what you do, unless you can just pick presets manually if you know what you're looking for, or you can just like randomize and you'll get something maybe. Yeah, and is there a different pitch? No, that's the same thing. Oh, this one is higher. So they're totally different pitches here, as you can see. Not all of these things are +2. This is +12, for example. That's why it's like, if I go this. This is +4. If I set this to +2, it's not going to be working. So I had to adjust these once manually. Here are different chops. There's a little bit of vocal chops going on. They have different pitches as well. So that increases. Is there anything going on here? Oh no, it's a natural pitch movement. Like that. That's it. Okay, and here we have the sound. That's cool. positioning elements. There's this C64 lead inside of the Serum stock presets. That sounds so cool. Add pitch map at the end. And I'm using the same pitch map that I put on this sound. Guess, right? Let's see, actually. On this sound. Oh my god. Yes, but it has different settings. You can't actually say because it's reset. It's different settings. Let's go freeze it back. So this one has different settings, and the reason it's only here, it has a glide because we want like dun, dun. So there's a glide and there's electrify. Gives a certain feel. Okay, infiltrator, making it crunchy. Just adding this effect, making it kind of cooler, not so empty. And then the filter movement, introducing this sound out of nothing into something. Sounds better than this. That's something you can do. You can introduce sounds with filters like this. Okay, so now we're gonna have these filler sounds, these ones. And there's gonna be more here. I just don't see them yet. Oh, here. Oh! Okay, but let's dive into those. This is just the same effect rack. That's what I like to do a lot. Just use the same effect rack for different sounds. Just duplicate it, change the preset, or change some effects. And that's it. That's how you get new sounds. So this creates this bam bam bam. It's too empty in here. It's down down down. But now it's down down down. Here we have another sound. Same thing. Doesn't even sound that great, but in context. Wait. It has reverb or something. At the end there's this tail. That sounds nice. Because it leaks here. Supporting element. Can't really hear this much. A little bit like this. With the reverb swell. Sits a bit in the background, a little bit like a detail. Oh god. Not a sound, just a different preset. Same processing. Without this resonator. Yeah, just a deal, just a filler. Adding a little bit of like down rhythmic sound to it. You can hear this offset, like this offbeat. Bam, jump. Without it, kind of sounds empty. So this thing repeats here, and then we have this offbeat 8-bit sound. But let's first of all go into this one. Pow, pow, pow. Same thing as recent, I think this is the same preset. We have a different shape. Like this, cutting the lows and adding subtle enhancer. And that is to just accentuate these hits. Bow, 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 bow. Like this. Wait. Right? Bow, 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 bow. That's something you can do also. That's usually actually what you do with drums. You can put like a ride here, and there are hats in this case. It can be like, let's see if I can do this. See what I mean? It just dictates that rhythm. So that's what that sound does. It accentuates that particular rhythm. And then we have this 8-bit sound. It's just serum with this basic shape at the end. That's it, there's nothing on it. And then a little bit of OTT. And it is playing these swinged notes that play 3 grid lines before the next quarter of a bar. It just keeps repeating like that. And that gives swing. It's not so repetitively, like the rhythm isn't so boring. Not really. It's like da, 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 instead of da, 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 da. Just octave higher, so that like if I keep it on the same octave, it just duplicates it, it sounds boring. Oh, hell no. It repeats. Those are all the sounds here, and then there's a cut here because there's a fill. That is a completely different thing playing, so we don't need these 8-bit hits. Hell no. And okay, these ones are bananas. Oh. Okay, let's. It is the same rack. It is the same rack actually. But a preset. Specific preset. That's what you do. You just take a sound, you have an effect rack, and you just replace the initial sound. I'm gonna enable these effects and just so that you can see the change. But so the pitch map here at the end as well. That adds a lot on its own. So vocoder, resonator, strider, another one, V-clip, OBT. Very beefy, very heavy. Well, this one this is just the same effect rack. Let's see if this is the same. No, that sounds like shit. But you got these effects and pitch map. And the reason it is playing this is because it is supporting this vocal at the bottom. With you, so it's like an harmonic to this vocal. Kind of feels like there's a vocal playing, but that's actually a bass playing. And here we have this respace opening, which is a flume respace opening with the filter here. There's a little bit of EQ going on, and it's not like there's no lows here because the lows are already in here. We don't really need lows, we just want a bass transitioning, like layer. So that's it, and that is the whole drop, ladies and gentlemen. I am now going to take a break because I'm just a normal human being. I am a TV presenter. I also have my needs, and I have to go and make another coffee because it is actually really tiring to work in this dark container when where the only source of light is my computer screen. There's even no electricity inside. My battery is going to run out soon. I have to do something about it. I have to make a coffee. There's even no coffee machine here, goddammit. I have to go to Starbucks, and I am poor as hell because at Oversample they just don't pay me well. But I have to work because what? I don't have anything. So I'm super grateful that they are letting me to work in such conditions. So I'm gonna go make a coffee, take a break, and after the break, we're going to dive into the intro, the breakdown, and finally the second drop. And I'm going to talk a little bit about the transitions between these things and a little bit about the outro. We have these cool chord stacks. Oh, we have these cool glorious sounds here. We have some cool holy themes in the intro. So let's do it. See ya. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back after the break to Oversample TV channel number 2. I have almost froze my balls, but no worries, I will make it to the end. So now we're gonna focus on the intro, and I'm gonna play it back a little bit here so that we know what the hell we're gonna be focusing on. So that's what we are dealing with. There is a fade in at the beginning. So this is one of the pads from the Future Bass pack. It simply fades in here. There are fades between the clips because we don't want any clicks, and this pad has only a certain length, We're making it as long as possible. One of the things that you can do is you can duplicate a sound, that's what's been done in this case, but also you can duplicate and reverse so that there's no like repeating sounds, right? So you ensure that this continues. Like if you duplicate the sound like that, you're guaranteed to fade in. Well, there's a little bit click. You're guaranteed to fade in properly. But there is a duplication of this as well here, like this. And because there's a little bit of the build-up here, this pad is rising in pitch using the frequency shifter, or the frequencies are actually moving. It's not really pitch, but frequencies are shifting upwards. It gives an effect of a pitch shifter, but the way that these two work, a frequency shifter and a pitch shifter, it is different. So that's what's going on. It's creating this dissonant effect. Whoa. So when you're using pitch shifters and creating pitch automations, or when you're using risers, it's pretty important, and it's going to give you good results, that you end the pitch shifting or a riser with the same note that the song is in, or that's relevant in this particular scenario. So if the song is in F minor, or in this case in G minor, use a riser that is also in G minor, if the riser is tonal. So we are ending this on so that's this, and here we have this magical stab. From Sound to Sample Pack, I use it a lot, and I think you can get it for free, I'm not sure. Okay, then we are having this respace that's opening. So we have these two automation lines. We have both the filter here opening, but not much at the beginning right here. It's very slow opening, which is this automation. But what's opening a lot is this. And as you can hear, it sounds very kind of like cyberpunkish. That is because each of those resonances, each of those sine waves of the sound, they're like playing one after another, like da 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 da. It gives a cool vibe. So there's a little bit of filter movement that follows the song's context. Opening. And here it stops because there's this little build up here. So those are the three sounds for now that we have. And here we have this pad that is made out of this. EQ, delay, shimmer, reverb. But what gives that pad texture is, well, I guess there's nothing on this. It's a second one. It's this. end of the universe. There, inside of the infiltrator, there's this ambient section, and there's a lot of sounds, a lot of presets like this that give you sounds like that. You can create pads out of anything. You're cutting a little bit of lows, and that's the sound that fills a lot of space in the background. That gives kind of a cool vibe too. So we have this vocal. Because this is the intro, we are fading in elements. We are not giving everything to the listener. We are fading them in, teasing them. So there is this filter automation right here, and it opens to the full range here. And this is nice because all these elements are playing right here in this space. So we are actually... That would be already too much, too heavy. So things are nicely fitting with each other. And we are teasing also this vocal. And here's where the drop is. There's this stopping here. And adding this vocal here is very nice because we are teasing this vocal that plays later. And here is this very nice build that this sound is doing. And that is inside the group. That's something that you can do if you have a frozen track and you want to apply effects to it. You can create a group and you can apply any effect on the group and it'll process the sound. So in this case, we're using this low pass filter and we are opening it right here. And we are, there's a little bit of filter opening here. And so we're teasing the sound. That's something that is very common to do. You can take a sound from the drop, or all the sounds actually. You can just put them in the build-up and then you can start opening the filter and tease the drop sounds this way. So, but as you can hear, there is more to it. I think it's on here, there's this washout that puts all the sounds in space like this. It's very nice to use before the drop. You can put these sounds like into that space more, wash them out. Sounds very cool. And what's on there is reverb, delay, grain delay, and what's happening is a low cut. And this the dry wet and the dry wet here. The grain delay, is it doing anything? Oh yeah, a little bit. It's a movement like this. So, but besides, you can hear this is clock. A little bit processed, but it's... So, right here there's a stop. But before the stop, there's this sweep that introduces the stop, like it brings up tension. And then you stop. Oh yeah, so there's no sound in this place. It's like these things are rising and there's suddenly a stop. That's nice, and here's a little bit of transitioning between these two sections. So this part is like a little bit of verse, and here is the build up, and here's like the intro. So you want to have some sounds that are transitioning you to this section. Here's a little bit of stop. And that is the intro, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, now let's go into the breakdown. Oh, hell yes. Okay, one by one. Here we have, so this is the breakdown, but also like a verse, so we could call it verse number 2, I guess. Here we have chopped up aim and break with a lot of processing on it. So we have the kick. I think this is, yeah, it's this one, but I didn't want it to have this. Am I right? Or did I chop it up? Yeah, it's almost the same. I chopped it up. What was the reason that I chopped it? Oh yeah, I duplicate this kick. I see. Anyways. We have this rhythm, kick, snare, and we are adding these. And together. And it just repeats like this. It has a nice sound. Let me show you what has been the processing for this. Sounds very right, like that's not gonna work in the song. Oh, hell no. Press this. So we have a little bit of EQ for whatever reason. Then we're making the whole thing squashed. So if you take, oh, here we're gonna be able to do that. If you take a look at the V clip before, you can see how like the lower bits of the waveform, how they are getting higher. See? And you can actually hear that. You can hear that the backgrounds, like the dynamics, are getting squashed with the glue compressor. So we're also cutting these tops, limiting them, making it crunchy. This is making it even more crunchy, but no worries. Because we are limiting the highs, like we're cutting the highs for this particular section, and then some EQ to separate the mids and sides, to make the sides louder and make the whole sound wider, and then make the mids a little bit quieter, simply to exaggerate the width. And we have still a little bit of compression on peak, which is more sensitive to the waveform of the sound. RMS is like that. Peak is very sensitive. So we're kind of like, we're limiting this, as you can see, ratio infinite to 1. And also look ahead allows you to catch all the transients of the sound. And then the reverb, I think it's rising here, so The filter is opening here because it's a transition to the next section, to the build-up, and we want to increase the energy right here. So there's this filter opening and the reverb's going up, as well as the compressor. Drive it. Oh, I didn't see that actually. I thought this was working. That's on the dry width, okay. Yeah, so we're making it really squash right here, like about an opening, adding this squashiness to the sound. Okay, so that's what we got here. In the drums section, we have this sound, which is again the same processing chain, so I'm not gonna go through the processing chain again. There is an EQ on the sound with cat highs, because the whole section has this dimmed feel to it, so we don't want highs here too much. It puts it in the background. But when it comes to the sound, this is the initial sound, and we have the effects. Yeah, purple dragons. And that's it. It has a little bit of movement in pitch. Ta-da-da. And there's a re-space following that, these notes. And as you can see, the filter cutoff is opening. That's what I like to do a lot with re-spaces to introduce changes. I do this either at the end of the sections to add a bit of opening, maybe opening and closing and opening, and maybe it would be something like this. But in this case, it's like a long opening because this is a build-up actually. So we're adding more energy by adding more high into the sound. Without this opening. Yeah. So you need that. Again, magical stab. Works very good for breakdowns or for stops. This is playing, and because this is a breakdown section, we're adding reverb in this case. Without the reverb, dry. It's totally fine right here in the drop. But here is more of a spacious section, so we're adding reverb. Here we have a little bit of rising vocals. Little at the boy. Performance down. Drive up. Infiltrator. Hot tape. Pitch map. Tune it. LFO tool. Make it rhythmic, and then filter opening with some reverb. Also rising. It's like a background element that keeps rising. And if you take a listen to the bass sound, this one, kind of idea popped up in my head to match with this sound, like dun, 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 dun. That's what I did, but it wasn't too good of a sound. That's why I put it in the background, but adds a little bit, like fills up the space, adds a little bit of transition. We have the pad increasing as well. And for this particular section, hold on a second, what do we have here? For this particular hold on a second, let's go here first. We have this transition. Very cool. And this one. Again, transitioning, and because this is a build-up, we have to make it big. And because this section is very heavy, we have to make it have a lot of energy and make it big and make it epic. We need to make it rise in tension. So that's why we have this brass here. Along with the pad, along with the vocals. We have also the bass and the re-space. So those are the sounds I already showed you, but extra sounds that are here are these epic holy blocks. And this is layering with this. And with the drums. We want to create like a cool rhythm here that makes the listener excited and makes him or her vibe. Okay, so let's dive into these sounds first, into the layers. Galaxy, Black, Classic, Sub House, Reset Back. It has this nice tone control here that creates this sound. Here I have Big Sleepy from the built-in sounds that gives this nice, clean, diamond-like beginning of the sound. And we have Contact, Choir Omnia, re, 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 playing to make it epic and holy. Right, as you can hear, this like it's kind of like it doesn't have much of a beginning, this sound, so that's great because it makes space for this sound. We can add that crystallized transient. And then this, and it's just Sonic Q because it's low end. Again, this is washing out. And it also creates this, it fades out, but also fades in this part, which is a part of the drop, right? Because this is on the whole group. And that fits perfectly, but in here we have the drums section, there's the build-up. Oh, these drums are different. Okay, so the kick plays this bam, 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 bam staccato rhythm, but there's a little bit of switch ups right here before the next part. Again, to introduce some variation, to introduce some changes, make things more interesting. Down, 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 So this, as you can hear and see, there are velocity differences, because we want something like if we go into the same velocity, it's gonna sound like shit. Hell no, but different velocities. And it's really important to accentuate the proper things and make quiet the ones that are less relevant. So these ones, it's like dun, 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 dun. And these we're adding as fills. Dun, 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 dun. And then we have dun, 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 dun. And this one is quieter. I think that works better in the context. But this is the kick, and this is like a fill before the quicker part. It's a simple duplicate thing, dividing in. No wait, it's simple dividing in half of the rhythm to speed it up twice. And we have this EQ filtering out lows. Got it? Nah. But for the transition, it works perfectly. And as you can see, this sound is opening up here. So that creates a perfect transition between the kick and the snare. Do you hear like how they're transitioning into each other? Excellent. So a bit of effects, because you're transitioning into the build-up, you want to make it big. And this is like gonna add a lot of tension. This is instantly bigger than this. So at the end of the build, we are adding sweeps. And you can add all sorts of different sweeps and risers depending on the context. In this case, we have something like this. It is big. We have this sweep, which is a bit tonal. We have this one. It's just a sweep, but with rain in it. And this one adds also lows. And if you add lows to the sweep, it makes it instantly sound bigger. Here we have a fill. And also, but you can add a fill, like everything stops here. And only a few elements are playing, which is this, the vocals, and fill, and turn that shit up. Before the drop, you want to add some, maybe not in all cases, of course, but you can add some powerful vocals, voices. And to make things hit super hard, we are introducing this signature sweep that has lows in it and highs. Makes it hit harder. Connects the things together. Here we have, okay, so the drums are copied, right? Wait, really? All right. They are the same drums, but there are different positionings of them. And the cool thing in this treble loop is this sound at the bottom. But it doesn't have the lows. So no kicks. The kick is not playing here because we already have a kick. Here we have reverse snare, reversing into the snare, and another reverse snare but heavily EQ'd to keep the bright tone. And at the end of this section, right? This is the end, yes. 16 bars of the drop, we are transitioning into this second drop, which is also the first drop, is duplicated. We have this playing, but let's dive into that later. Let's go into this section. So these are all the drop sounds. Oh. Okay, that's almost the same. So we have the chord stacks, a lot of groups, as you can see. This is the main group of chord stacks. Okay, how do we do this? Disable this. Without processing, it doesn't sound so beefy. But we have this sound. Playing the bass, the main bass notes, and then while making chord stacks. Oh, there's not many chords in this chord stack, though there's a choir. When making chord stacks, you want to have the bass, chords, and the lead that accentuates, that makes, that leads the chord stacks. So this is the lead. It's actually a bass layer. This is the lead. But distorted. I already gave you this lead on the epic future bass lead video. You can Google that and download. But this is just a lead with, where is it? Or is it here? No, I don't know. Oh yeah. With diode on it. Very distorted. So we have the bass, we have the lead. We have neither bass supporting. Makes the whole thing epic. Then the brass is also following the bass line. But EQ'd. And we have these we could call chord stacks. Like chords in the chord stack. This is the choir. Which is this. As you can hear, I didn't even tune it properly. Like, I would need to throw pitch map on it to tune it into the key, but I just left it because it worked. Then utility. As you can hear, there are some leftovers in these spaces. I don't want them, so utility goes onto the whole group and it cuts the volume in the spaces. And then it fills this volume with the reverb. Like so. in all the spaces. Some of them are quiet reverb, some of them are louder. It depends on what's in between these chord stacks. Okay, but before the reverb, there's this EQ. Makes it less annoying. And then we have this big EQ. Like, holy hell, what the hell is this, bro? What the hell? It's called These Shapes. It looks scary, I know, but it works. Check this out. Boost bass a lot. It's something that I made for different sound, I think. I just saved it as a shape, and I've been using it because it's like all you have to do is to throw this on a sound and you can see that it works. Bananas. It makes the whole thing wider. This is what it's doing. It's boosting the sides, but also boosting the bass and cutting the mids here. You know, you throw it on the sound and see if it works. If it works, that's amazing. And it did. So that's what's changing the game here. See, I've been saying this a lot. EQ is such a game-changing effect. It can change so much in a sound. Just an EQ. Without putting much effect. Like, you can hear them, or maybe like there's some distortion on this. Some OTT. No, it's just EQ. Okay, so then the reverb. And we have these sounds in spaces. This is a sound I made for a different song. I just reused it here, as well as this. So this is the main sound in the space, but this is a filler sound. Make the space filled out more so it's not so empty. And we have this sound, which is the same processing again, but a different sound inside Serum. It's like the easiest way to make sounds for your songs. And then we have this sound from Polychrome. It's an ARP, but chopped up. And here we have another one from Polychrome. It's this sound, but pitched down, reversed, and put in this space. And we have more sounds. Again, Polychrome. Candy Splash. Kind of adds a little bit. And then again, the filler right here. Yeah, there's not much to talk about with these sounds. It's just the processing is the same. And it's just a different preset. That's how you make the sounds for your songs. But there's a separate sub in this case. Instead of using this one, the sub is like which sucks. And this one is just steady. It's a sub, separate sub. And here's this sound. Boom. But in context, without these effects, see how it stands out? It's not, it's too, it's filtered, it's sweet, but it's not rich. Now it is. So those are two infiltrators that add saturation 1 and distortion another one, making it crunchy. And we have this sound. Is this the same? No. Wait, where am I? Oh, here. Again, the same sound, but different positioning of, I mean, the same processing, but different positioning of the notes. Oh, and this one is cool. Another one, same processing, different initial sound. Oh, same thing here, but a different sound at the beginning. Yeah, that's what it's doing. As you can see, the rhythm is... Yeah, I don't know what to say about this. There's not much really to teach you here. It's just what's there. Simple rhythm here with these spaces. Bang, 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 bang. It's like bang, bang, bang. If you speed up, bang, 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 bang. And then you just do this, and then you fill out these spaces with sounds, and you make the sounds by duplicating the same effect rack, change it to the initial preset. And you can add sounds in different places, see if they work. And if they work, that's great. Keep them. And so this is, did I cover all the sounds here? So there are the drums that are different. The offsetting snares here. Boom, tap, ta, 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 ta. Very common rhythm. Fill again here and again here. And here to the drums we are adding this. Very common rhythm as well. And here there's a switch up. We're fading out the whole thing here with this filter here, which helps in transitioning to the next part, which is more filtered, not so heavy. And that's it. We're putting the sound in the space right here, introducing it a little bit without it. Not really. We need that introduction. Here's a snare leading to this moment, as well as this build up, as well as these sweep ups, and a laser stopping everything. And then this whole thing repeats. What is different here? Oh, nothing. Just this sound. Making the whole thing even beefier, even though we have this. This one has a different tone. You know, adds more beefiness. Oh yeah, and there's this 8-bit sound. And then we have the repetition of the first drop, which is nice because like we're giving a listener something that he or she has already heard. So it's like a throwback. That's nice. And the fill here is the same. And at the end, the outro, ladies and gentlemen, which is only this. And the magical stab. Which is great for endings. And that's it, ladies and gentlemen. That is the whole song. Oh wait, hold on a second. There's one more thing. Which is... Wait, is this being automated? Hold on a second. Oh yeah. It is. This drop was too loud, so I gained it down.
Turn that shit up. Turn that shit up.
And there is ozone, ladies and gentlemen. And you may be like, oh, how did you master your track? Did you use some complex mastering that made your song 10,000 million times better? No. Just limiting, man. Without limiting. With limiting. I didn't even squash this song, which is kind of weird. Because normally I would do this. Yeah, I just left it like this. Imaging, low end, bass, mono, instead of wide. Usually I would do something like this. Maybe even further. But I didn't. So it's just a limiter that basically does, it's just a limiter that barely does anything. That's what I did. Please don't judge me. Yeah, this track is unmixed. And that's how I released it. I was like, fuck that shit, man. I ain't mixing that. Because it takes always like 50 trillion hours. I'm like, fuck that shit. I was so tired with this EP. I was like, man, I'm not mixing that shit. And I just exported it like that. It's fine. It sounds good. I'm not disappointed. I'm not dissatisfied. I'm actually satisfied with the way it sounds. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you have gained some new knowledge and that it was helpful. As always, check out oversample.us. They forced me, they told me to do that. Okay, check out. How do you do this? Goddamn. Oh, there we go. Check out oversample.us for samples and presets. Super Heavy 2, the pack that was used in this song a lot. But artist inspired sample packs like Skrillex or Flume are there. Hyperpop, color bass, power, drum fills with a lot of fills. The one effect rack that is free to grab for Ableton, Soundchess, has also a free download. Preset packs we have used in this video, Dragons a lot, but also this one, Slap House and Future Bass. There's free stuff and there's a little bit of blog going on. So you can also, besides that, you can also stream this track on Spotify under Aidan Williams Disturbance EP, ladies and gentlemen. So thank you for watching, have a great day, and see you soon.